What's up, guys? How's it going? Everyone good? Everyone excited?
Okay, welcome to Tribal Wars. How are we feeling?
Great.
A bit tired?
Little bit.
No? Jody's good. Okay, so, welcome to Tribal Wars for the morning. First of all, we've got an apology to make, don't we, Lilo? Oh, we're going to change music. Okay, can we have the two boys who did the fighting cardboard thing yesterday up to the front, please?
Thomas
We want to say
and,
sorry to you.
That guy just needs to chill.
Josh.
We've got 50 prizes and we're really sorry for that.
what?
So, Josh, you win. You're the winner here.
If I won, that shit would be
Oh, humble king! Humble king! Yeah!
Oh yeah. Thomas! Well done. You almost did it, man. It's a good clap.
Shut boy.
Okay, so, because Josh won, that means Team Swift. Are we calling them Team Swift?
Yup,
Yeah.
Team Swift.
That means that Team Swift won. You guys are awarded
Would your dad allow you to have
1,000 points. So well done.
Dad, I'll ask your dad.
Also, we should probably explain, we forgot to do this yesterday, what this whole Tribal Wars thing is. So basically, at the end of camp, whatever team has won, Kanye or Team Swift, everyone's names from that tribe are going to go into a hat, you're going to pick out a name, and that person's going to win a Summer Camp Free Joe for next year, which is pretty sweet.
Yup.
Yeah? Okay. Some mascots.
That's right. So we're just gonna hand out some mascots to leaders of Team
Can we have a leader from each team up here, please?
Team Swift and Team Kanye. And what's gonna happen is with these two mascots, we can steal them, right? You guys can. Members from each team can steal the mascots from the opposition. The only time you're not allowed to steal them is
Swift.
during services. Is that right? During services.
Yeah, so it's your guys' job to steal this from them. It's your guys' job to steal this from them. Little rule though, can't be in the service. Also, please don't take them into your cabins because then that means that we're going to have other people in cabins that shouldn't be in cabins. Yes?
Yeah. You gotta be visible at all times.
Okay, we've also got another thing. We don't really know what to call them. Hidden idols. Claire's written down. So Slelo and I will wander around camp today and we hid some things somewhere. We taped them somewhere, we taped them
Brown
there.
tape, yep.
Yeah, brown tape. So if you find these things, I'm going to tell you what they are. There's two of them. If you find one of them, bring them to the next service and you just may win some points for your tribe.
That's right.
Repeat? Okay. We're going to a game? No. One more notice. Do not forget to bring your flags to service. If you forget, no. If you bring it, maybe points will be given to you. We have a Swift. Are we? Cool, we're both on this side today. Okay, game?
Yup.
Okay. This game is a smash hit. We like to call it Yeezus or Jesus. Everyone say Yeezus. Everyone say Jesus. Okay, we love Jesus more, but today we're playing Yeezus or Jesus, yes? Okay, so we're going to need 6 people from each team up the front. Mingle around your
Six.
that's what that
This is 6 warriors up.
Jordan.
I don't even know what team I'm in. I just
You're on
got
our
here.
team.
Am I?
Yeah, SG.
Come on, dude.
well, which one's that?
Let's get it. Team Swift, come on.
Jordan.
Which team is it?
Just go up there, they'll know you.
We got 1 out, 5 more to go. Come on.
Me and you, let's go up.
Come on.
Malako. Edu.
Yup,
You're Kanye? Friend on the side.
Let's go. 3 more.
Edu.
3 more. Awesome. Let's go. Get 2 more up, 2 more. And Team Swift, 2 more.
Dallas. Dallas.
We want one more for Team Swift.
Kanye's done.
We need one more for Team Swift. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 6.
Are we ready? Okay. Jesus or Jesus. Here's how you play. So Lilo here is going to be our quote master for the day. He's going to read out a quote. It's either going to be Jesus or it's going to be Jesus from the Bible. So it's your guys' job to do something and then tell us which one it is. Yes? So you're going to be taking turns. But before you do that, you have to complete a challenge in your team. So we're going to involve everyone. Yeah? So can we have our first Jesus and first Swift up to the middle? Just take a step forward. Just take a step. You can do a handshake if you want. Cool. Okay. So your first challenge is create a pyramid within your team using at least 10 people.
So that's within the audience, right? That's within the audience as
Yeah, so
well.
within the audience.
Yeah, so let's go Team Swift. And the quote is,
Listen to the quote.
I am the vine, you are the branches. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Let's go, Team Massachusetts. I am the vine, you are the branches, apart from me, you can do nothing. I am the vine, you are the branches, apart from me, you can do nothing. Wrong. Oh, easy.
Yeah, you guys keep going, keep going.
Let me redo the pyramid.
Redo the
Let
pyramid.
me redo the pyramid again.
Yeah.
One more. Jesus.
Yes!
Can we have the music down just a little bit so we can hear the words?
Okay, can we have a second volunteer from each team? You second.
It was 5 on the bottom. 4. 5.
Can we have a second volunteer from this team? Okay, so Leo's going to say the quote first this time and then we'll tell you what to do.
Sweet.
What's on a
The
complete?
quote is, I am a God. I repeat, I am a God.
Okay, so in order to ask this one, you have to represent the songs from your team. Full songs.
Stop. Yo. Bro, chuck it up.
Okay, who's it? Yes, you got it.
Sorry, it is from Jesus.
Okay, third one. Who got third volunteer?
Can we have Anthony sock?
Come on guys, come on.
Michael. Sock.
Okay, quote.
Alright, the quote is, I'm like a tree, I feed the branches of the people. I repeat, I'm like a tree, I feed the branches of the people.
Okay, so this one. Okay, we need 2 people from each team to pick these guys up like a seat, and you're going to run them down the aisle. So you guys are going to run down that way, down here, and down the middle. You guys are going to run down the middle, that way, down the middle. Somehow.
Let's stay in like. Yeah. So you guys are gonna run around the sides and then through the middle. Run around the sides and then through the middle. And the sides. Whoa! What happened? Watch out for the sounders! Crashes! Down the middle! Down the middle! Down the middle!
Okay, who was it?
Josh. Raw. Yeah, correct.
Okay, fourth volunteer.
Let's go, Team Swift, come on.
I couldn't even hear
We're
what they
better
said.
than
Which
that.
one did they say was
Better
right?
than that.
Jesus, yeah.
I'm a
Let's go,
tree
let's
then.
start.
I'm like my tree guy.
With
But
four
that's something
notes.
similar to what Jesus would say.
Yeah.
But he's a man.
So don't worry about tomorrow. Today's trouble is enough for today. So don't worry about tomorrow.
What else said it?
Today's trouble is enough for today.
Okay, for this challenge, it's going to be really tense. We're going to do a friendly pinochle war.
It's like just before that verse where he says,
In the middle, please. Okay.
Let's go, Team Swift.
Okay, hands. Okay.
Let's go, Team Swift.
Pinochle war. I don't know the song. Fight!
Let's go, Team Swift.
get aggressive, John! Get aggressive, John! Give him a shove! Give him a shove!
What was that?
Where's the quote line? Where's the quote line?
Jesus.
The quote line was,
Jesus.
correct. Let's go talk about Team Swift.
Yes. Fifth one? Or go to five? Okay, 6 plus 1. Can we have our fifth volunteers?
Sweet. And the quote is, you should only believe about 90% of what I say. As a matter of fact, don't even believe anything I'm saying at all.
Okay, Jesus one, just do team burpees. 3, 2, 1, go!
Let's go, Team Swift, come on! Yo, keep it down, keep it down. This is quote line. Correct! Come on, Team Swift!
Okay, the last one. One's a text. Are you ready, Jody? Yeah? Okay, quote please, sorry.
And the last quote is, keep your nose out to the sky, keep your heart to God, and keep your face to the rising sun. So I'm gonna repeat that. Keep your nose out to the sky, keep your heart to God, and keep your face to the rising sun.
Okay. For this one, our last challenge. You have to run into the crowd somewhere we can see a water bottle and flip it. First team to land the flip gets to answer. 3, 2, 1, go!
Come on, Team Swift, come on!
More Kanye. Jesus or Jesus? Jesus.
Correct.
Correct. Hey, I think Jesus won that one. You guys have won 15,000. Well done. Sit down. Thank you.
Come on, let's get on our feet. Let's head on down to the front.
Well, so I'm sorry I forgot your prize up again. Jesus, this is for you. Enjoy. Yeah, come down to the front. Let's pray.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's give it up for Jesus. Yeah. Amen. Awesome. You guys can grab a quick seat. We just got a few notices this morning. Who got much sleep last night? A few people. Who had snorers in their cabin? Yes. Yeah, hello. Yeah, I know. Awesome. How's your sleep, Stu?
It was pretty good. Supposedly I was a snorer in the cabin, so it Scotty's always here to sleep, so yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah. Alright. So today we've got a few changes with our night. So 11 o'clock is we're gonna be quiet. Alright, so make sure you're not being too rowdy around that time. So but lights out still at 12, but make sure you're heading, towards your cabin around 11 o'clock. Also, just real important, with cabin staff, we've got a few cabin staff around camp, so make sure you're being respectful to them. We've already had a couple of complaints, so make sure you just honour what they're doing for us, inviting us here, and we want to be invited back next year, so make sure you're nice and respectful to them. Awesome.
Yeah, so that goes out to all the adult helpers as well, all of your youth leaders, and yeah, so just make sure you really honour and respect everyone here.
Yeah. Awesome. So what's happening today?
Cool.
Stu?
So between everyone say top team.
Top team.
Top team, yeah. So from 12:30 to 2:30, we've got top teams happening out on the field out there. So this is compulsory, so make sure you all head out there.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sweet.
Awesome. And then from 2:30 to 3:30, we've got the pool open. We've got the blob operating, the slide, the kayaks, mini golf, and cage soccer. Sound good? Sound good?
Oh.
And then from 3:30 to 4:30, we've got the same activities running. So yeah, if you do one lot of activities in the first slot, make sure you get along to another one the second slot.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Sweet. Also, straight after the service, we're going into connect groups. So pretty much your connect group is your cabin. So after Benji wraps up, we'll all pretty much just find your cabin leader, and then they'll take you to a space around the camp, and we'll just chat about messages that have happened today and yesterday. But also shout out to where's Anthony? Yeah, give it up for Anthony. This guy's a man. He's sponsoring me today. Anthony Tan Line collection. Right, so make sure you hit him up, hit his Instagram up. He's the man. But I think we're going straight into some worship now. Are we? Oh, we're doing another praise song. Awesome. Let's all jump up, come back to the front,
Yeah, come back
and
up.
let's get a bit rowdy
Get
in
into it,
here.
guys.
Still in.
Chasing feelings, that's not what I'm seeing. It's who you are, and I'm Father, we just thank you that you're in this place right now, Lord. Holy Spirit, just come and move. Fill afresh this morning, Holy Spirit, just move. The song that we're about to sing, the word said, I may be weak, but your Spirit's strong in me. My flesh may fail, but my God, you never will. I want you guys to just declare those words this morning and just give it all you got. You know, Jesus put his son on the cross. He didn't just give his son's leg, he didn't just give his son's arm. He gave everything. And this morning, I just want you guys to not worry about who's next to you, who's behind you, who's in front of you. Just focus on God this morning. Focus on God this morning. Thank you, Jesus. Sing it out, guys. Come on, declare that this morning, young person. Sing it out, sing it out. My flesh may fail, but my God, you never will. Come on, sing it with everything you've got this morning. Come on, young person, sing that this morning. My flesh may fail, but my God, you never will. I may be weak, but your Spirit's strong in me. My flesh may fail, my God, you never will. I may be weak, but your Spirit's strong in me. My flesh may fail, but my God, you never will. I may be weak, but your Spirit's strong in me. My flesh may fail, my God, you never give me faith to trust what you say, that you're good and your love is great. I'm broken inside, I give you my life. Give me faith to trust what you say, that you're good and your love is great. just need to declare that again. I may be weak, by your spirit strong in me. My flesh may fail, but God, you never will. Really believe that this morning, young person, because I can guarantee you God will change your life. No one else but God. Just declare that this morning, young person. I may be weak. Sing it out. Is your spirit strong in me? My flesh may fail. Sing it, young person. My God, you never will. I may be weak. Is your spirit strong in me? Sing it out. My flesh may fail. Declare it this morning, really do. My God, you never. One more time. I may be weak, but your spirit strong in me. My flesh may fail. My God, you never will.
Go on, right across this room, why don't you just close your eyes. If you feel comfortable to do so, just lift up your hands. It's just a gesture saying, God, I'm opening up to you. Holy Spirit, we give you permission to move this morning. Day 2, Summer Camp 17. We ask you come and do something great in our lives. You come and do the impossible amongst us today. God, you would come and move in power through our lives, Lord, so we can go into our worlds and wreck them for you. We can go into our worlds and begin to change things and transform things through the power and what you do in our lives today. So God, we ask this of you this morning, and if you believe it, I'm going to count down from 3, and if you believe, I need you to shout amen. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Amen! All right, let's give God a massive shout of praise. Cool. Can you guys stay there for a second? Can you guys can stay? Everyone grab a seat, grab a seat. On your way to your seat, headbutt someone. That's a joke. Give us here a whole lot of like. Singers, you can get lost that I need to. Go over rest. All right. Here's what we do. It's Saturday morning. Who's feeling wide awake? Who's struggling just a little bit? Did anyone have anyone that I know you guys were talking about snores. Did anyone have anyone in their dormitory that farted? Some of the girls are like, yeah. I don't know, girls fart. Yeah. We had 11 beds in our dormitory, just 2 of us. So we had pretty good odds last night for snoring and farting. Here's what we do. I think it's Saturday morning. We should groove a little bit. I think we should hear some solos. Some solos. You guys want to hear some solos? Anyone down for a killer drum solo this morning? Yeah? This is your moment. All right, this is your time to shine. All right, let's give it up for the drummer. Whatever you can. Give me some encouragement.
Go, Trev. Go, mate.
Anything's gonna sound good.
Go, Trev.
It's probably the coolest guitar I've ever seen in my life. I would love to hear you shred something. Oh, here we go. Give it up slapping the bass?
Go, Sammy!
You're looking at me like, hey, what have I done to you? Can we hear a bass solo? Whatever you can do. Whatever you can do. It's going to sound cool because hardly any of us can play instruments.
Come on, Sam.
Give it up for Sam.
Go, Sammy!
Yeah, that groove buster. Just nod your head. That's what's up. That's what I'm giving up for the basses. I let the rest of you off the hook, even though I saw you were practicing. Alright, thanks. Give it up for the band. They're doing awesome. We appreciate you guys. Alright. We're gonna this morning I'm not gonna talk for very long. Yay! Alright, because you guys are gonna break out into your groups. But what I do want to talk about is very important. But before we get to that, now in light of recent US elections and the changeover of the New Zealand Prime Minister, I've been on a buzz where I've just wanted to start campaigns. So the campaign that I'm wanting to start for 2017 is called hashtag Hook Your Youth Pastor Up. Alright. Who wants their youth group to blow up this year? You know, go over 100, 150. You guys want to have a cranking youth group. The key to having a cranking youth group is to get your youth pastor a girlfriend. Alright. And then to get them a wife. Right? I don't know how much you can control that. But I'm giving you permission this year to for Stu, for Matt, and for Roy. Alright, when you guys go to church conferences, just go up to any cute girl that looks around their age. It's like, you know my youth pastor? This is the nicest guy in the world. Right? You guys have to give them mad props. Now, it does come at a cost, because once they do get a girlfriend, they will stop spending money on you. Once they do get a girlfriend, they probably will ignore you and have the most unorganized youth nights because they'll be organizing dates and different things like that. But it all swings back around once they get married because the girl will sort them out. Alright, then you'll have an epic youth group. So is that cool? That's your campaign for this year? You're going to hook your youth pastors up? Alright, you guys can thank me later. Sweet. Now I introduced and I talked a bit last night about this impact that we can all have. And I remember when I was growing up, my dad runs public swimming pools up in Auckland. So I grew up around water. I love swimming. I'm actually a very good swimmer. I swim like a mermaid, even though I look like a walrus. I love swimming, and I remember I used to go after school to my dad's work, and I'd go into the office, and on the office was a picture in a frame, and it was of a coach talking to a player, and I think the sport was baseball, and under the picture was a quote, and I'll never forget it. It says this: "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Now, my mate DJ Solomon, King Solomon, who I was talking about last night, he puts it in another way. He says this. He says, the word of the generous gets bigger and bigger, but the word of the stingy gets smaller and smaller. Now, what that quote means is this. We make a living by what we get. You get a whole lot of things as you grow up. You'll get a job. You'll get a salary. You'll get a girlfriend. You might get a wife. You'll get a car. One day you'll get a house. All of these things accumulate in our life. You'll get an education, you'll go to college, you'll get a degree. All of these things accumulate to make a living in your life. But the problem is, when it gets to the end of your life, people aren't going to remember the kind of car you had. They're not going to remember the house that you had. What people are going to remember is what you gave to them. Because we don't make a living by what we get, we make a life. Your life is your legacy. Your life is what you leave behind you. We make a life by what we give. And you have so much to give. Remember last night I talked a little bit about that gap between where we are now and where we can be. Or where you know you should be in that gap. We all know it. It's this big transcending gap. And we can feel it. But you know where you can be is a bigger place. It's a big world where you've got lots of influence, where you're having lots of impact, where you're making a difference, where you are influencing the world and your communities and your nation in a great way. Now that is an awesome thing, but that requires our worlds to get bigger and bigger, because you can't impact New Zealand from where you are now. You can't impact the country from just your small place. What we need and what is required is for our worlds to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is the challenge that God gives us. You can't just get saved and stay the same. Once you get saved, you go on this journey of becoming more and more and more like Jesus all the time. And as you become more and more like Jesus all the time, you've always got something to give. And as you give things away, as you're generous with your life, your world gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Am I making sense this morning? Yeah. So here's my challenge today. We all talk about changing the world. We all talk about changing our schools. We all talk about changing our families, and I 100% wholeheartedly believe that every single one of you can do it. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've done, no matter where you're currently at in your life, you can make a difference. You can impact the nation and you can impact the world, but it requires your world to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the way it gets bigger and bigger and bigger is like the proverb says, when you're generous with your life, the world of the generous gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So you've just got to give things away. The impact's awesome. In Matthew 5, Jesus is telling a parable. It's a pretty cool parable. And he starts to talk about salt and light. And he likens your life to this. He says you are salt. You are the salt of the world. Now that's a weird thing. If I was to compliment you, I might say like, hey, you're awesome. Or you're a beast. You're a legend. He says this, you are salt. Imagine hearing it the first time, you just be like, what the heck are you on about? He says this, you are salt and you are light. Now, when you add salt to food, salt doesn't take away from food. The substance of salt, when you add it to food, it accentuates any flavors. Anyone love chucking salt on like a steak? Yes, I love salt on food. And the reason I love salt is because when you add it to food, it doesn't take away the flavor. It doesn't take away from the meat. It doesn't take away from whatever you're adding to. It adds to it. It gives to it. Here's what I love about light. If you're in a dark room and you turn on a light, light doesn't take away anything. It gives to the room. What does it give? It gives light. So Jesus is saying this, you are like salt and you are like light. Here's what you need to do. This is what your life attributes to. These are things that give. These are things that add to their world. These are things that are generous with what they've got. So the way you make your world bigger, the way you step towards influence and impact, is you just be simply generous with your life, with what you've got. And it's as easy as this morning, and this is what I want you guys to break out and talk about in your groups, is what have you got to give? What have you got to give this morning? If the key is simple, to impact the world, to impact schools, if God's called you to go into your school and be flavor, be salt, accentuate it, add to your school, add to your classrooms, add to your families. When you walk in, don't go in and take away from environments. You go in and you bring light into environments. What do you have to do to bring light into environments? You've got to give. So what have you got to give? It's as easy as this. When we talk about giving in church, immediately, I can guarantee most of you will think about giving money, giving a tithe, giving an offering. But when I'm talking about being generous with your life, you've all got something to give. Even if you don't have a job, even if you don't have money, you've all got a smile. You've all got the ability to speak or the ability to lend a hearing ear. You can all give encouragement. You can all give support to someone who needs it. You can buy someone lunch who needs it. You've all got opportunities each and every single day to give what you have. Some of you are great sporting players. Some of you are great athletes. Go onto your field, give to your team, lead your teams, encourage your teams, support your teams while you're excelling at your craft. Some of you are awesome musicians and you can sing and you can lead people in worship. You can write songs that will bring about kingdom on earth. Some of you are great communicators. You can walk into an environment and you can speak to people and they just listen to you. Some of you are just like the type of person that just attracts people, that when they sit around you, they just want to tell you about their lives. That's because they trust you and there's something special about your character that makes them feel safe. Some of you are good at baking. If you're good at baking, bake. I love people who bake. Some of my favorite people who have impacted my life are people that have baked. If you can cook something, take it to school, share it with your friends. Because when it gets to the end of your life and people look back on how you were, what Lilo was like, what Luke was like, what you were like, they're not going to look at what you had and the things you acquired and the things that you got. They're going to look at what you gave to them. I remember him. I remember he supported me. I told you a little bit about how I got saved last night at my best friend's funeral. Now, I remember this. I was working on a Saturday morning. I used to clean swimming pools, vacuum them. And I was working at a swimming pool. My dad came and picked me up early. And I hadn't finished the job yet, but he just said, hey, go jump in the car. And I was like, Dad, I haven't finished. I need to finish. And he said, no, go jump in the car. We'll come back and do this later. So I went and jumped in the car. He closed up. And I was sitting in the car just wondering what was going on. This is a bit weird. He was my boss, so usually he's drilling me about getting the job done. But he said, no, just go sit in the car. So I'm sitting in there. Dad gets in, and he just looks straight forward. And he just says, Nathan's dead. And I remember sitting in the car, just bursting out. Nathan was my best mate. He was the captain of the first 11 soccer team at his high school, Avondale College. He was the head boy. He was a great dude. He was an awesome dude. I remember we went and picked up my sister. He told my sister. And then that night I went to a family service where we just hung out with his family. We just supported them through what was going on. Now across the week between when he passed away and when his funeral was, I got time off school and I got to hang out with his family. Now it was cool hanging out with his family because I would go to their house and literally for about 3 or 4 days, waves and waves and waves of people would come through the house. And they would just leave letters saying thank you to Nathan. Thank you for the way that he supported them. And then they'd go on. And I remember getting to his funeral and people would get up and share. And I remember this one story, I'll never forget it. Nathan was 17 when he passed away. He was the head boy at his high school. There was a girl who was fourth form. She was 14. And she wrote this letter to his parents and they read it out at the funeral. And it said this: I've never had many friends at school, but I'll never forget when I'd walk through the hallway and Nathan would walk past. Her name was Stacy. So I never forget when he'd walk past and he'd say, hey Stace. He even had a nickname for me. It was like we had been friends for a long time. And then she goes on to say, just that alone made me feel like I was important and valued at school. Thank you so much, Nathan. We'll miss you. And they read this story and I realized, man, it's not about what you have. It's not about what you get. All of that stuff's good because we need it to make a living. But at the end of the day, the things people remember you for is just what you gave to them. Yeah. And it's as simple as that. It's an encouragement. It's a greeting. It's a smile. It's a hug. It's a free feed. It's all of these things. And it's just so simple. But you will be so surprised. I love what Jesus says at the end of that scripture in Matthew 5. He says this: you were salt and you were light. So remember this. Be generous with your lives. Have an open home. Don't be afraid to give when you get the opportunity, for when you do, people will look at you and glorify your Father in heaven. Yeah. Here's what happens as you give away. Not only your will gets bigger and bigger because people are drawn to you, but people are drawn to you and then they're pointed to God. If you want to have a great and powerful impact for God in your life, it's simply this. You just got to give away. Give what you have. I got one more story and then I'll pray and then I'll let you guys break up. It's as simple and stupid as this. I've got this kid in my youth group. His name's Jordan Connell. He's an absolute nut job. I'm pretty sure he came over from Australia about 4 years ago. His parents are Kiwi. He was born over there, which probably explains why he's a bit weird. But he's a cool kid. He barely speaks. He speaks English, but he's also got his own language. But I've never met someone so influential. So Jordan does this. He'll walk around and he'll just make noises like, oh! Right? It's the weirdest thing. Rather than greeting you and be like, no, sup, bro? How you doing? Just go along and be like, oh! Like just a weird ass noise. But if Jordan does it, I can guarantee within a few days, we had a camp 2 years ago, and we had plastic seats like this, but we were sitting in a gym at the time, and the gym didn't have very good air conditioning, so it got real hot in there. There were about 300 youth. So when the kids would get up, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, when you get off a plastic chair, there's like little bum sweats things. So like sometimes when you get up, you kind of shuffle, and then you get up so you don't get embarrassed. But the boys, this was happening to the boys, so they started going, "Hey, bum sweaties," and this was their thing. They wouldn't greet each other by their names; they just went, "Hey, bum sweaties." Now it was amongst a small group of boys, but once Jordan started saying it, literally within a day or two, 300 young people across the camp were saying it, just because he's so influential and awesome. Anyway, that's what Jordan's like. He's a cool kid. But they decided last year, we want to impact our school. So we want to make a difference. We want to show our school that we love them. So here's how they did it. They decided to do a sausage sizzle. Because there's no better way to show people you value them than to give them food, especially students, right? Because we all know you eat your lunch by like interval or morning. So by lunchtime, you're hungry again. So they put on a barbecue for everyone. So students would come in, they would get a sausage sizzle, sausage, bread, ketchup, and then they'd give them a flyer out to the youth event. Now, after about 250 sausages, they ran out of bread. So what they started doing was they'd put the sausage inside the flyer, and then put the sauce and the onions on. Kids were still appreciative, right? Because they're getting food. Now, it's just something as silly and as simple as that. They decided over lunch, we're going to give to our school. Over lunch, we're going to make a difference. We don't have a lot. We're just going to source what we can, but we're going to give it away. Now, that night, they filled buses from their school to come to a youth event, and a whole bunch of their friends got saved. All because they decided, you know what? I've got something to give, so I'm just going to give it away. And it can be as easy and as simple as that. Now they're very influential in their school, those kids. They've had their friends saved. It's safe to say that their world is getting bigger and bigger, and it gets bigger and bigger as you give it away. So this morning, I'd just like to pray for you real quick, and then we're going to break up into our groups. I'll hand it back to Matt. He'll give you some instructions. So again, everyone to close your eyes. Father, I thank you for another awesome day at camp. But God, I pray, Lord, that where anyone in this room is needing something, Lord, we know we can't give when we don't have anything to give from. But Lord, I know you supply all our needs. God, I know you give us everything we have. So Lord, when we have an opportunity to give hope, I thank you. It's because you've given us hope first. Lord, when it's an opportunity, Lord, to give purpose and passion, God, I thank you that the young people in this room will be able to give that to their friends because you've given it to them first. Father, I thank you when it's an encouraging word, Lord, they will be able to give it because you've encouraged them so much in their spirits. You've told them how awesome they are. So God, we just thank you, Lord, for the year ahead. God, we thank you that as they come to camp next week, camp will be bigger and bigger and bigger. And the reason it will be that way is because of the young people in this room that decided, as I go forward in life, I'm going to be generous and I'm going to give things away. So God, we thank you for it. We believe in your name. Amen.
Awesome. What a powerful message. Let's give it up for Benji. So right now we're going to break into our connect groups, which is our cabin. So if you're a cabin leader, how about you just stand up real quick? All our cabin leaders. Alright, so you should see your cabin leaders standing up. Alright, so make sure in a few seconds when we wrap it up, you find them, you ask them where they're going to take you, and we're pretty much going to chat about the message this morning, and yeah, just have a real awesome chat. So how about we all just stand up and go towards your cabin.
Come on me, we're going on an animal hunt.